In the year 2019, Reverend Meredith Garmon took a sabbatical year and traveled to a Buddhist retreat center on the west coast of the United States. Shortly thereafter, in early 2020, the global COVID pandemic struck. No definitive link has been made between Reverend Garmon's sabbatical and the widespread pandemic. Reverend Garmon returned from his sabbatical to a congregation where Sunday services were very different. No longer able to congregate in person, CUUC was meeting each week online. Seizing the opportunity to explore digital content, Reverend Meredith Garmon began to compose weekly short-form videos and composed over 120 UU-minute videos from 2020 to 2023, which have been viewed on YouTube over 3,000 times.
Wow!
His UU-minute videos covered the important UU history of prominent figures such as Earl Morse Wilbur, Henry Moore, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, but unfortunately, he never got to an important contemporary figure, the Reverend Meredith Garmon. Reverend Garmon, a lifelong Unitarian Universalist in the humanist tradition, earned a master's degree in communications and philosophy and a doctorate in government from the University of Virginia. After graduating, he was an assistant professor of philosophy at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, but soon realized a different calling. After completing his theological studies at the Meadville Lombard Theological Seminary in 2003, he was ordained as a Unitarian Universalist minister in 2004. He traveled to Gainesville, Florida, where he and the Reverend Laura Kim Joyner served together until 2013. Having practiced Zen Buddhism since 2001 and attending yearly retreats, Reverend Garmon brought his deep Buddhist spiritual practice to his ministry. His contemporaries noted that his philosophical perspective made him a facilitator and enabler who helps individuals and groups pose questions, consider alternatives, and come to workable conclusions. He brought this aspect of spirituality to Gainesville, running the Dancing Crane Zen Center from the Gainesville Church. In 2013, Reverend Garmon traveled from Gainesville to become the head minister at Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation at White Plains, or CUUC as is called by his congregants. He was influential both in the development of the congregation and the support of the community, including launching journey groups, creating CUUC Matters in the Liberal Pulpit, updating CUUC's mission statement, participating in the People's Climate March, establishing social justice teams, expanding the number of U's in CUUC, updating CUUC's vision statement, organizing the congregation to support LGBTQ+ rights, and reaffirming CUUC as a welcoming congregation, updating bylaws to remove gender quotas for committee members, converting to hybrid worship services, establishing accessible bathroom facilities, driving updates to board size and governance policy, and driving the adoption of modern service video standards. And over his years at CUUC, Reverend Garmon racked up many important, impressive stats, including attending over 100 board meetings, delivering over 400 sermons, leading over 500 staff meetings, holding over 1,000 one-on-one staff meetings, meeting with the executive board over 100 times, walking from the parsonage to the CUUC main building over 3,000 times, writing over 1,000 articles for the Communitarian, and of course, recording 120 UU-minute videos. After much deliberation, the CUUC Board of Trustees has passed a resolution to formally forgive Reverend Meredith Garmon for the omission of Reverend Meredith Garmon from the UU-minute series, and to introduce a new UU-minute, this one as the final UU-minute. The board and the congregation greatly thanks Reverend Meredith for all of his hard work and for making the congregation a better place during the past decade.